Welcome in part 7. In part 7, we're gonna see how to sprint. So we're gonna go to our first person character and we're gonna implement the sprint. As you remember, we did the sprint action mapping already in the project setting. So we're gonna go back to our first person character and we're gonna search for sprint. So in the sprint here, so every time we press shift on our keyboard, it's gonna run. So when we press and when we release. So the first thing that we have to do is figuring out when we can sprint and when we cannot sprint. So I'm gonna create a variable and I'm gonna call this variable crouch. And I'm gonna put type boolean. So basically, I don't want to be able to sprint if my character is crouching. So first thing, I'm gonna hold B on the keyboard, do a branch. So when we press the key to run, they're gonna check, the game will check if we're crouched. If we are not crouched, it means that we're gonna go there. If we crouch, nothing's gonna happen. So from that, we're gonna search for another branch with another condition. And it's gonna be our stamina. So here, I'm gonna create another variable and I'm gonna call that current stamina. And I'm gonna make sure that it's a float. I'm gonna compare this. And the current stamina, I will make sure that I put that under stamina. So it's gonna under the group stamina. I'll do the same thing for health here, and I'm gonna put that under health. There we go. So we're gonna take our current stamina and just drag it there and do a get. And we're gonna drag from the current stamina and we're gonna search for greater or equal. It's gonna be our condition to the branch here, right? Because we only want able to sprint if we do have stamina, which we have to put a number here. So once if we have one or more stamina, we'll be able to run. If we don't, it's gonna go to false and nothing's gonna happen, which we won't be able to run. So from that here, we need to set and tell the game that we are sprinting. So I'm gonna create a boolean here. I'm gonna call that sprint. And I'm gonna make sure that it's a boolean. And I'm gonna take that and from true here, just gonna drop it there and I'm gonna check that to true. So from that, we're gonna take our max walk speed because we want to change our speed of our character because by default here, character movement, your character go at max walk speed of 600, right? So we want to change that. So we're gonna drag the character movement here. And from that, we're just gonna drag and we're gonna search for set max walk speed. There we go. I'm gonna plug that right there. So in our max sprint speed, right? The max walk speed is 600. And the running speed, at which speed we want to run, well, I'm going to promote this to a variable. I'm going to call that max sprint speed. I'm going to compile that. And now I'm going to be able to change the value. I'm going to just double it for now, right? Just to try it out. But we're going to play with those numbers later. And from that, also when we run our current stamina, we want the stamina to go down, right? So we're going to create another variable and this variable will be should drain, and we're just gonna plug it right there. So you'll see it makes sense when everything's gonna be set up. Here we go. So we're gonna go back here, and when we release the key, we're gonna go to another branch. So we're gonna type branch, and we're gonna take our crouching that we have here, our boolean, and put it right there. So, and here we're gonna set up back our speed, so the current not the current but the character movement speed, which is 600 by default, right? We have to tell the game, hey, I'm releasing the key, so I need to put that speed back to normal. So I'm gonna take the character movement, and from that I'm gonna set max walk speed, and I'm gonna plug it to true. There we go. And the max walk speed is 600. Now it says 0, right? But we need the 600. So we're going to promote this to a variable. And the max walk speed, we're going to compile. And now we're going to put that back to 600. There we go. We need to make sure that we take our max sprint here and we move it to the stamina group. And same thing, the max walk speed, drag it there and under stamina as well. So now instead of putting the number manually, we can just plug those values because the max walk speed is 600 and our running speed is 1200. So from that, when we're no longer sprinting, we also have to make sure that we remove the sprint and we remove the show drain for our stamina. So we're going to take our sprint, put it right there, and we're going to make sure it's unchecked. And we're going to do the same thing with show drain, and we're going to make sure that it's unchecked as well. So now that we have all that beautiful code here, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take all of that, do a comment, and this will be the stamina or stamina logic. There we go. So from that now, we're going to create a custom event, and this custom event will be our drain stamina. So let me show you how to do this. So we're gonna do our drain stamina. So when we press, we want our stamina to go down when we press left shift. So I'm gonna call that drain stamina. I'm just gonna compile here. So now we have drain stamina. So if we go back to our sprint action here, now when we say show drain, now we'll be able to call that drain stamina. There we go. So when we press, it's gonna do all that code and it's gonna call the drain stamina. And when we're done running, same thing. We don't want to drain stamina anymore. So we're not gonna call the stamina here. Here, when we're done, we're gonna call the regain stamina that we're gonna put here. So what I'm gonna do here right now, I'm just gonna create a custom event, and I'm gonna put regain stamina. Now, if I go back here, I'll be able to call that regain stamina. There we go. So now the sprint function, it's all complete. So we're gonna go back to the drain stamina, and from that we're gonna drag or click B to do a little branch, and we're gonna take our show drain that we did earlier. So we're gonna take show drain and plug it right there. So when we sprint, that when we're here and it's draining, it's gonna confirm that it's show drain, and it's gonna be true because we set up a variable right here, a boolean. So we're gonna go down here. So we're gonna take our current stamina. I'm gonna put it to true here. Our current stamina, we're gonna drag from it I'm going to search for clamp, which is going to make sure that we don't go above or under a certain value. And I'm going to take again our current stamina, and we're going to subtract a certain value to that stamina, which will be 1 in this case. So, and from that we're going to put it right to the value and our max stamina. So we have to determine what's going to be our max stamina. Well, max stamina will be 100 for now. So we're going to click on our current stamina here, and we're just going to create another variable, and I'm going to call that max stamina. I'm going to make sure that it's a float, and I'm going to move that to stamina here. I'm going to put right here. So now I can take this and put it right there. I'm going to do a get, and I'm going to plug it to max. I'm going to compile that. So now we are able, by compiling, to change the number here. So I'm going to put 100. I'm going to compile this. So now we're going to keep going, and I'm going to drag from stamina. I'm going to do an equal. And I'm going to drag here and search for branch. I'm going to plug it right there. You'll see in a minute what I'm doing here. So from the branch here, we're going to take our show drain and plug it to true here and make sure it's unchecked. I'm going to take our max walk speed, put it right there, and I'm going to take our character movement once again, and we're going to set our max walk speed. So set max walk speed. I'm going to plug it right here, and I'm going to plug this one there. So what it's doing for us, so when it's draining, it's going to confirm that it should drain. So if it should drain, it's going to take our current stamina, which is here, -1 from the number we have. Gonna make sure it's not gonna go below 0 and not above our max stamina, which is 100. And it's gonna check that stamina it's not equal to 0, because if it's equal to 0, it's mean that it's true. We're gonna remove the show drain and set up back our max walk speed to 600. So it's what all that code is doing here. There you go. Perfect. So, and if it's true, from that branch here, we're gonna drag and do a delay. 0.2, 0.1, I'll put 0.1. And we're gonna call back drain or drain stamina. There you go. So what that code is doing for us. So when it's draining, it check if it will, when this is get far enough, it's gonna confirm that it should drain. If it should drain, it's go to true, so it's go there, which take our current stamina -1 every second. It's gonna make sure it's not gonna below or above the max value here, which is our max stamina, which is 100. If it's go true, and it's gonna confirm that if the stamina is 0 or not. If it's not 0, it's gonna go to false here, and it's gonna do a delay of 0.1, and it's gonna call back drain stamina, which is this one here. So it's gonna keep looping until we have 0 or release the key on the keyboard. So when we are 0 stamina, it means that we cannot no longer run. So it's gonna remove the variable show drain and set our max walk speed back to normal, which is 600. Right? So we're gonna compile this, and I'm gonna select all of that. I'm gonna press C and call that drain stamina logic. I'm gonna move that a little bit bigger like this and put it right there. So now that we have this, we need a way to regain our stamina. So we're gonna do the function for regaining our stamina. So let's do that now. So we're gonna go to the regen stamina here. From that, we're gonna take show drain, not show drain, but a branch which will be connected to show drain. So we're gonna take show drain here, plug it right there. There you go. So I'm gonna take another branch from false right there, and we're gonna take our current stamina right here and our max stamina, which is this one here. I'm gonna drag from one of them just to equal. I'm gonna plug both in and plug that right there. So from that branch, we're gonna go to false and just drag up, and I'm gonna get our current stamina, and we're gonna go there, get search for clamp, get the float one. Gonna take again our current stamina, drag it here, and this time instead of removing stamina, we're gonna add stamina, which I want to add 1 per second, and plug it to the value right here. And we're gonna take our max stamina because I don't want the stamina to go above our max stamina. If you don't put anything here, it's just gonna go up, 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 up until forever, I guess. So we're gonna move there, and we're gonna do a delay. I got 0.3 for this one, and I'm gonna call regen. Always mess those two up. There we go, like this. So what this code is doing for us, well, when regain stamina get called, as you remember, regain stamina get called up here, right? When we release the key of sprinting, it's gonna call that. So we're gonna go all the way down here. It's gonna call this here, and when it's get far off, it's gonna check if we should drain. So if we don't have to drain any stamina, it's mean that we go to the next branch. The next branch will confirm if our current stamina it's not equal to our max stamina. It means that we need stamina if those two are not the same number. So if those two are not the same number, it's mean that it's false. So it's gonna go to our current stamina, gonna take our current stamina, add 1 to it, make sure that it's not going below or above 100. So it's our max stamina right here. It's gonna wait 0.3 seconds and call regen stamina once again, right? Until it's go to this one because you're full of stamina. So we're gonna take all of that. I'm gonna comment that to regen stamina log. There we go. So now we do have the basic, but we need the way to see that on the screen, see if it's working, because if we do play now, you can see there, you see it's not doing anything, right? Because I don't have a lot of stamina, because you remember we are starting our stamina at 0. So what about changing that to 100 right at the start so we can see it right away? So I'm walking normally and I'm running. You can see there is a big difference, right? So we want to see that on the screen. Same as the health, we're gonna go back to our widget blueprint player HUD. And here, I'm gonna add another progress bar. So let's search for a progress bar. I'm gonna put it right here. And I want the same settings. So I want the size. So I'm gonna put, 400 here and 20 here. I'm gonna do the same thing with this one here. So 400 and 20. I'm gonna make sure that this is anchored to the bottom left, and this one will be the stamina. So we're gonna go to the progress bar right here, and I'm gonna create a binding for it. Create a binding. It's gonna be very similar like health. So I'm gonna take that, this one here. I'm just gonna rename that and call that stamina progress bar. There we go. So same as the other one, we're gonna take our reference or character, and from that we're gonna search for our stamina. We're gonna need the current stamina. So get current stamina, and it's gonna return this one right there. So same thing at the health, we're just gonna divide that number by 100 and plug it right there. Well, actually, and this one here. And we don't need this one, so we're just gonna remove it. There we go. Compile. So now it should work for us. So as you see, we have full stamina, but if I start running, it's going down. And if I stop, it's going back up. So we can see that our stamina is working for us. So that will be it for this video. So I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.